Just because someone is good in voice acting do not automatically mean they are a good person. Hello there, how's it there? I'm Mega Kita there. So obviously it has been quite a while since my last random chat, but I can assure you guys that for today random chat is really kind of like there is reason why I have to delay and on hold and then kind of like change the script, change the whole damn script, look at the whole damn video and more information, do some research, and then when I throw everything together, it became today random chat, which is involving the English voice actor, their union SAG, as well as one of my favorite game company, MiHoYo or Hoyoverse, depending on which one you are going for. Now, it's really kind of funny that when the whole ordeal, the whole timeline is like many people just kind of like throwing shit here, there, everywhere, and it's really kind of like it's really a mess that we can't have a proper timeline from the start to the end. What caused the whole issue? Why do a lot of voice actors start crashing out against each other, or some of them throw each other under the bus without knowing it themselves, or intentionally along the line, and some even going as far as crashing out to the point that they are a lot of them having a loss in support. More so is that even fan or their own follower are now turning against them amazingly. Now, so I mean, like, today I still have to say that today is still a random chat. It is still a random chat video, so take everything with a pinch of salt and prepare the salt to throw at the screen if you need to. Now, but again, it's really one of the things that when you look at the whole ordeal, why did the voice actor on the English side start crashing out? Why do a lot of people, a lot of fans turn on them, and why did it all went wrong? Well, it wasn't that bad at first, considering it all started out with AI. Artificial intelligence for short, or in a way, it's starting to start replacing a lot of people in the most unexpected way. Now, I have did a video causing was it advanced too fast to release date. Most of that is actually not without merit or without reason. Considering that beforehand I have did a video about Prom Pirate did on Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid, where he actually do a AI voice redub. And in a way it was considered like good for fan and bad for localizer and voice actor. More on that in that video, but in the summarized form is that there are people who cause problem by falsely changing the original script that is like the Japanese anime, and they change it to fit their own propaganda, agenda, whatever, including the voice actor themselves. Not saying all of them, but when you consider that even some voice actors agree on the point that some of the characters should be voiced by the Pacific race, meaning to say, if the character is black, it should be voiced by a black. If the character is white, it should be voiced by a white. But why is the Japanese character all being voiced by black and white? And that became a question that he has been causing a lot of problem and caused a lot of people to think that maybe AI replacement might be a good choice. But the thing is, what you guys have to understand that video, while have been banned and mostly due to falsely harassment report. I'm still in contact with Prom Pirate. If you guys want to know, I'll try to get him talk one day. But I'm just a small tiny vtuber, can't really help him much. But the thing is, like, what I was able to understand from one point of view is that it caused a fear. A fear within the voice actor is that they had under the impression that AI can easily replace them. And that fear is understandable, because if AI can easily steal their rights bowl away, not only do the game company or the anime studio or even any other company that is in charge of voice acting can easily save the money by not giving money to the voice actor, but they can actually earn and keep the profit for themselves. Because why? They are using AI. AI, you don't need to pay for it, apparently. So when you consider that situation, obviously there was a strike, a protest, or in what some people would say, refusal to work, because of AI. And well, there are some voice actors having like division within that protest itself over the AI protection. It is also one of the reasons why the SAG and the voice actor protest started from the first place. It kind of like having a lot of point of view that seems to be questionable, but you can't deny it all started out from AI. A simple video that has seemingly caused the ripple within that fear. Now, at the end of the day, it's really one of the things that you can't really say that that's just not the issue when you consider that even when you look at like union trade, they want better wages and beneficial for their employee. And in this case, the trade union is basically SAG, while the employee is basically the voice actor. And obviously you want the union to protect their employee, and that many companies will have to try not to use AI to replace voice actor because you can't really do so. But when you consider there is actually a video out there that seemingly caused that fear, obviously you have to understand it is feasible, not impossible. So when you consider that situation, you really kind of have to understand that what this set did. They throw the first shot. Don't you guys tell me that MiHoYo had did something along that line, because on March 27, 2025, Seth decided to throw shit and say, "Hey, Genshin Impact Honkai Star Rail and Zone Zero, we shall give you a link to our agreement." And that agreement, however, caused many people to question what is SAG all about. Basically, it means that they are trying to extort money from MiHoYo. And it's not without reason, considering that earlier that year, the same period, when MiHoYo was fined $20 million by FTC over violation. The violation of that they are tricking young kids into spending money in the game. More in that video in the description below if you guys are interested. But in summarized form is that MiHoYo was willing to pay $20 million to America for so-called violation on tricking young kids to spend money on their game. And it's not without reason. Now, considering that the one of the thing I have to ask, so who is going to take that $20 million? Is the company going to give the $20 million to all the people that have been, all the young children who has been spending money on the game? Or is FTC just going to keep the money for themselves? If that is the case, you can't really consider that when you look at how so-called generous that MiHoYo was willing to pay that $20 million, you can't tell me that SAG won't want to have that piece of pie, considering that MiHoYo is $1 billion company, right? So obviously, when you consider that SAG want money, obviously you can't tell me that. If you tell me that SAG don't want money, I don't believe you. I will just say you are lying, because their leader earned $1.02 million last year, according to the founding of Department of Labor, making him one of the top paid union officials in US. And that is only salary. It did not include bonuses or beneficial yet. So if he actually decided to use the money for himself and fatten himself, I would believe that maybe that he would love to have a bit of pie, right? Because if you just considering that how MiHoYo paid $20 million easily, I won't be surprised that SAG decided to go after MiHoYo. Because if you look, considering that post had 3 games, all 3 games of MiHoYo, I'm questioning how the moral of the union is in the first place. Is it that why, like when you consider that the union, if you want to join the union, you have to pay a fee, and then they're also taking the money from company. So when you consider that all this ordeal, the question you have to ask yourself, doesn't that make them mafia? Obviously, a lot of people start questioning like the legit of the company or the union or the organization, and I know that a lot of people be questioning like this, that, whatsoever along the line. But in summary form, it's basically that it seems like they are doing a scummy move. Basically, they just want money for themselves. But obviously, that is still under speculation. Don't step into think too much. But one of the things that a lot of people need to understand is that everything seems to line so perfectly that if you tell me that they are not going for the money, then why are they going against MiHoYo? Is it really because MiHoYo is against AI? It's a Chinese company and Chinese is against AI despite people using AI. So in a way, MiHoYo is a big company. They are under civilization, under Chinese law. So in a way, you can't expect that MiHoYo is going to use AI out of nowhere. So over this, it seems to be weird. So that's lead to speculation on my point that I think that it's very likely they just want the huge piece of pie, that money pie. But really, the one of the things that a lot of people need to understand at this point of time is that if I have to pull out one more point, if the union really is as beneficial as they say, they should really waive all the registration fee for all the non-union or union members. Not only will we encourage non-union people to join them to become a union regardless of their nationality, meaning to say that despite being in America, they should accept any other country voice actor. But at the same time, they also try to give job to their employee, which is the voice actor. Now, that being said, the thing is, right, if they're willing to take money from a game company, they should be willing to have that compromise. But if they are not willing to go that far, then I don't think that union is beneficial in any form. I won't consider even joining them if I'm a voice actor. Now, that being said, it's really one of the things that a lot of voice actors start crashing out, saying like people just against SAG, people start giving like a lot of voice actors start giving inconsistent answer about SAG is just against AI, they just want and now nowhere it became they want better wages. The thing is, right, if they stick to that, I'm fine with that. But the moment they start attacking another voice actor, and it's really kind of like start from a point on that a voice actor got replaced. Why? Because some people decided to refuse to work. Jill decided to do a simple video, which he deemed that the so-called strike never exists. It was just a collective work refusal. And it's really kind of like interestingly that video was retweeted by many voice actors, but at the same time, also a lot of people of them didn't realize that it is throwing them under the bus. Now the thing is, right, when you consider that MiHoYo have for almost a year have a lot of their character voice so-called quote-unquote mute, you really can't expect that a lot of people are unhappy that a lot of MiHoYo game characters are just basically unable to have a voice. Why? Because the voice actor decided to say that they don't want to work. And one of the things a lot of people need to understand, when you refuse to work because of a strike, and that causes problem for the company, you can't expect the company to come back you if you can be replaced. Again, not because of AI replacement, but because there is people who can work as a EN cast from other company. More so, I have to ask, why is a non-union company having union voice actor? Because again, they actually say that a non-union for a non-union project, no union voice actor is able to join, which means that even Joe himself, who had joined in a non-union project, which is MiHoYo Games, him and all the union voice actors have broken the global rule themselves, and that is they cannot join a non-union project. Well, I'm sure they will go with another reason saying that yes, they can actually join, but with the negotiation part on SAG. But if SAG in this case had decided to go with, hey, we are going to make an agreement with you, a contract with you. If they have not have that contract in the first place, why are the voice actors working for MiHoYo? They shouldn't have. And if SAG want to save their ass, all they need to do is they just throw all their voice actors under the bus. Why? I mean, like, the voice actors broke the rule themselves, which is basically wrongfully joined a non-union project. They did it. They broke the rule. And more so is that most of them even bully news voice actors for scrumming. Because why? Not only does the strike doesn't exist, but at the same time, like I mentioned, MiHoYo have enough with a lot of their game character not having a voice. Their game character need to have a voice, and what do? They replace the cast with a new voice actor. Obviously, it did not sit well with many of the older voice actor or people who used to voice that specific character. But when you're considering that you are refusing to work, when the company want to pay you, when the company want you to work, then what do? No, I'm not going to work. So basically, AI was just an excuse to lie to fan. Obviously, it did not sit well, and I actually consult with ZVT, and if anyone who are interested in PR or having issue on their public relationship and want to have a consultant, I will recommend ZenVT. Link to his Twitter in the description below for more. You can chat with him, and I actually consult with him not on PR but actually more so on this topic in a way. And in his own word, he actually do say again one of the point that I mentioned earlier. That was his point. The company said can basically throw all the voice actor under the bus. Why? Because they broke the rule. Global rule number 1, they should not join a non-union project. If they join and is not under contract with the company or the unions or themselves, then they broke the rule. So in a way, a lot of people have the speculation. Well, I'm not sure how true to what. Do take this with a huge pinch of salt. A lot of people are speculating that a lot of the union member or the union voice actor joining MiHoYo non-union, hoping to turn it into a union project. And while turning it into a union project, meaning to say that anyone who do not belong to SAG or is considered a non-union voice actor are no longer allowed to voice their character in the game, or maybe future character who are not to be voiced by anyone else but their own members. So if in a way it's considered like a mafia move, a scummy move, whatever move you want to call it, but when you're considering that all this situation is happening, obviously at the same time, while I also mentioned that how MiHoYo was willing to pay 20 million as fine, you can't tell me that SAG just want to have not only a boloboni within that industry, but also want a huge part of that money pie. So when you consider that all these things happening, a lot of people will start throwing a lot of weird shit, this thing, whatever thing. And one of the things that Zed and I actually do agree on is about the non-union stuff and Chinese law. I'm a Singaporean myself, so obviously I know most of the law myself. But I think one of the things that you guys have to understand in the most summarized form, I'm not gonna say too much, but I'm just gonna give it a more summarized form because this video will be damn long if I go into that. But if you guys are interested, link to this post or this thread is in the description below. It's a very long one. I recommend you guys to take a look. Now that being said, in the most simple form, Chronosphere or the subsidiary company that in charge of money for MiHoYo or Hoyoverse in this case, it actually belong to Chinese company MiHoYo. A lot of people need to understand, well, it is based in Singapore. It is, as the word mean, Singapore-based company. It is not a Singapore company. It is, at the end of the day, belong to China. Belong to MiHoYo, a Chinese company. So at the end of the day, if MiHoYo want Chronosphere or MiHoYo or Hoyoverse to have a part of it, they must, however, can go with this route, and that is to create a union within Singapore. Yes, if they want to have a pie of on the money, they have to create a Singapore branch within Singapore itself before they can go after MiHoYo. But the thing is, trade union in Singapore have to go two routes. One is not just because of the business registration within Singapore, where they are subjected to Singapore tax and law, but they also have to follow Singapore Trade Union. Yes, there is something called Singapore Trade Union, and that is something that a lot of people need to understand, that it is not something that is easily done, considering that under SG justification, as the company cannot join union, only their workers. So if the union want the company to join, they must go through a lot of justification. And under Singapore, even under Singapore justification and Chinese justification as well, MiHoYo is not allowed to join any form of union unless they force their workers not to. Then that's a different story. But if their worker decide to join, but then their company decide not to join, that's a whole new different story. Okay, it's a whole new different thing that is not involving SAT. It's a whole new, like, it should be under trade union, or in Singapore, the Ministry of Manpower. Now, the thing that a lot of people need to understand is that SAT at the end of the day had no right. More so is that even if people say about Singapore-based company, if the company belong to China, they still have to more first and foremost follow Chinese rule, the PPC rule. So at the end of the day, even if we all like it or not, a lot of people need to understand that it is not a something simple. It's not a simple thing, and more so is that even like a lot of people talking about this, or even talking about the bully situation, or right, like a lot of people who started out like well known, like even little curable along the line. What people need to understand that even he has the worst stake in this whole ordeal up. And I actually asked, so you telling the news voice actor have to take bullying like a man because the VN voice actor are now top badly. And mind you, I actually say this in March 31st, where they say they are just top badly. Keep that in mind. Now, it's really kind of interesting that a lot of people now realize that a lot of voice actors are just being scummy or being bad fake people, or people who just causing problems. Even to the case that the voice actor for Paimon, the English voice actor, is actually basically just throwing everyone under the bus, where she worked for the company, she still worked for MiHoYo, but despite being a union, she just still work, and then she just throw everyone under the bus, and then she still continue to bully people, still act like she is the best, until she realized that she had gone wrong. And then what happened? Well, a lot of the voice actor apologize, not going well, or even the Paimon end up destroying her reputation even more along the line. So the thing is, right, I would recommend you guys to take a look at Hero Hill video. And I mean like his video, considering that he freaking did a whole list of it, alright? When I say he did a whole damn list of video, it's basically that he actually did a playlist. Link to all this video as well as his playlist on the description below if you guys are interested. Now, just to summarize in most simple thing, is that a lot of voice actor initially bully a new voice actor for replacing the older voice actor, because why? The older voice actor did not want to do the work, refused to work. And it kind of like got many people to wondering like, why do you guys refuse to work in the first place? Is it because of the strike, or is it you want better pay, or is it that because of AI? But when you consider a lot of situation, it just basically mean that they have no reason not to work. If Paimon herself can work, why is other member refusal to work? Like, it doesn't make sense. They can still go on a strike. They can still go on and voice their character. It's a win-win situation. I wouldn't want to know that they are the reason for like a collective refusal to work is just basically mean that they don't want to work. So at the end of the day, it's really kind of weird that when you're considering that all of them are now crashing out, they realize that people are not. The thing is, a lot of people are not stupid, alright? People aren't stupid. I'm not stupid. They aren't. The voice actor does not know that they aren't stupid. So the thing is, like, if no one is stupid, why lie? Why do you lie? It's a very simple question. Why? No one can give a proper answer at this point of time. But at the end of the day, as long as I want to yap and drag this on, the thing is that a lot of voice actors realize that they have been smashing their rice bowl, which in this case their career, their source of income to put food on their table. When you consider that they have been doing all these things, obviously even the Chinese or the Chinese are aware of it themselves, where they decide to just say that, hey, replace all them. Chinese company. MiHoYo is a Chinese company. Obviously, they belong to China. Obviously, they listen to just Chinese fan more. And more so is that what a lot of people need to understand, that a lot of you don't just come from Chinese. Also, there is a lot of Japanese will in the game. But what a lot of people need to understand that if Chinese fans are saying that, hey, just replace all those people, what did MiHoYo do? They really listen, and it's so damn good that Hoyoverse decided to just replace a lot of the voice for other game. Xenozone Zero decided to go with replacement of Coletta, Grace, and Rina, and many other voice actors as well. Which means that if Xenozone Zero, which belong to MiHoYo or Hoyoverse in this case, decided to start doing it, don't expect that many of the older games such as Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail decide to, hey, you know what? Let's replace all those people who refuse to work. If you refuse to work, obviously we can't have you do. What do? We replace you. So damn simple. Obviously, it's not really as what a lot of voice actors want, considering that even like some of them saying that, like Venti himself decided, hey, you know what? It's actually not my problem. I'm being threatened actually. They are the one who tell me to do all this. So it means that now everyone throwing each other under the damn bus. I think at this point of time, let's not use the bus at this time. Let's throw everyone under the damn train at this point of time. It's so damn funny that everyone is just throwing everyone under the bus at this point of time. That it just basically means that this whole audio was like, it's such a simple thing that they could have just go on the strike. They can still work for the company and still get the respect by many, but they decide not to. They have the crash out, they have this, they have that, they apologize, no one believe them, and what do? They gaslight people! The last phrase, I guess. It's really so interesting that even like Red-san do talk about it. Sorry, Red-san, that I can't use too much of the video, but I will have to use this specific video. He had talked about many other points on voice actor, but one thing that a lot of people need to understand is that even voice actor themselves decide to just say in back to what I say. Like, remember this video is happening 2 days ago, which means that this happened in 26 April. But I actually say in my post saying that talk badly about him, which is happening on March 31st, meaning a month beforehand. So in this case, they are trying to so-called gaslight people, saying that no, we are just criticizing people, we are not harassing, we never bully people. Wow! It's not actually bully people. We are just basically criticizing. We're just telling people not to do this. It's a scammy move to do this. Well, I guess that table turned on them, and obviously they are panicking. And obviously the word crash out do really fit them to a T. And at the end of the day, at this point of time, people won't even believe a voice actor at this point of time, regardless of how good they are. Why? Because even when the case of like people saying like some game decided to hire extra voice actor for $15 for 5 minutes of work, someone decided to say no, it should be 100 per hour. Well, obviously a lot of people, when you understand that the person is a voice actor, when you realize that a person is very bad at maths, considering that 15 hours for 5 minutes mean that it's basically in what Mr. Obvious decided to say, 15 minutes for $15 for 5 minutes is literally 180 per hour, which means that you got $80 per month. So that person decided to pay us less. And even there are some people who willing to go to do it for free for 5 minutes. Why? Because if you do it for free, not only do it help to give you the easy job, not because it's not a job, because you do it for free, but it actually help to do one thing that is important, giving you the name that you can put it in your resume, so that in future you say that, hey, I actually voiced this game, or I got done the word and the word seems to be very likable by many. So if that is the case, that $15 for 5 minutes is going to help way you more than you think, just because it costs you $15 that you maybe probably going to buy a meal for yourself. At the end of the day, it's really kind of like just show that no one at this point of time would believe in any voice actor, regardless of how one thing. And more so that when you consider that many of them are now crashing, and it's really one of the things that people aren't going attacking MiHoYo. I won't even attack MiHoYo, because the thing is, right, if MiHoYo have no fault in it, why would I want to criticize them? The only thing I will criticize MiHoYo is basically that their gacha system may be a bit questionable. Maybe some of the thing are like too many S rank character or gold star character a bit questionable. Maybe that I will criticize. But when you consider that voice actor, there are some other cause of problem. And you looking at all these things around, I won't side with the voice actor. And even like Zen himself actually do tell me that the company said or the union said can actually throw all the voices under the bus. But considering that now I actually did ask him about one simple thing. Should voice actor throw said under the bus? Like in saying that it's actually like in what Wendy did in this case, they are just being threatened to do so. Which means throwing said under the bus, throwing other people under the bus. When they say that it's not recommended, because in a way throwing under the bus, it means that you are using a scapegoat just to protect yourself, and I think I agree on that point. But at the end of the day, it still shows that people will end up doing what I say. People will end up doing it, and I think Zen also agree on one point is that, and we all agree is that SAG can throw those bad faith voice actors under the bus. Why? Number one, under the pretension of that they broke the rule, and two, they don't represent the union. But hey, at the end of the day, it's still a speculative talk. It is just a random chat. Whether you agree or disagree, whether do you think that those voice actors should deserve all the backlash at this point in time, or do you think that the voice actors should deserve a second chance? Write in the comment section below, we can discuss it further. As much as I want to talk a lot more on this topic, give more take and give more yapping, understand one simple thing, I don't want to drag too much for this random chat, right? It's really ridiculous that how this audio change over every single day, and you just realize that the voice actors are just basically people who aren't just good people at this point of time. But hey, at the end of the day, what can I say? Who am I to judge? I'm just having fun. But hey, don't worry about me if you guys are worried about whether I'm inconsiderate on random chat for these past few days or past few months. Yes, I will say my voice is still having issue, but at the end of the day, I'm still recovering, I'm still streaming. So if you guys still want me to talk about this kind of topic in my live stream, do come to my live stream. I do live stream mostly at Singapore night time, but if not, you can just basically just subscribe and press the notification bell, and then hope that when you receive that notification, I'll be streaming. But at the end of the day, if you do like this video and do like to listen to more random chat, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense, or totally random at time. But the one thing I hope that is not random for you guys is have a nice day or night. Bye.